Greetings, brethren. I just purchased the Scofield Reference Bible, and I just want to share with you my first thoughts about the Scofield Reference Bible. When I first got it, I was trying to get familiar about who C.I. Scofield was and get familiar with the Scofield notes. And I was looking around, and there was people made charges about one of his notes for First John 5:7 destroys the proof text for the Trinity, saying that the manuscript's omitted, and saying that Scofield was a textual critic himself, indicated they point to um, the preface in Scofield Reference Bible. Um, I mean, it's understandable. It is commendable for the to labor in the scriptures. There is a place and time for it, but to look and be critical about the scriptures to know if it's been tampered with. But if you're trying to prove that the King James is the preserved word, you probably shouldn't go to the Scofield Bible, because I've been looking around, and he does point to that the earliest and best manuscripts, the Codex Sinaiticus and Codex Vaticanus, is you know omits those verses, and I just wanted to read. First, go to the with the preface and read you that. Okay, like um, after the 11th point, I think says, after mature reflection, it was determined to use the authorized version. None of the many revisions has commended themselves to the people at large. The revised version, which has now been before the public for 27 years, gives no indication of becoming any general sense the people's Bible of the English-speaking world. The discovery of the Sinaitic manuscript and labors in the field of textual criticism of such scholars as Griesbach, Lockman, Tischendorf, Trageles, uh, Weiner, Alfred, Westcott, and Hort have cleared the Greek Textus Receptus of minor inaccuracies, while confirming the remarkable degree in the general accuracy, that seems weird, of the authorized version of that text. Such emulations of the text as combines the dignity and the high religious value, the tender associations of the past, the literary beauty, remarkable general accuracy of the authorized version, and the results of best textual scholarship. So you got that he was influenced, and with like I think it was the Moody Bible Institute and things of his life, I guess, by John Darby and other things. And go to the Second Thessalonians. In the introduction, it says in Second Thessalonians, the theme Second Thessalonians, I'm getting tongue tied right now, unfortunately obscured by a mistranslation in the AV, where the day of Christ is at hand should be the day of the Lord. I seen it's videos about that. It's a Ruckman Bible issue that comes from Ruckman or David Hoffman, Ruckman and David Hoffman, Common Reference Bible. Apparently, it was the the trend of the day in those kind of circles, or dispensationalist circles, or I don't know, but in those kind of circles, John Darby and C.I. Scofield, those late 1800s, early 1900s. Okay, I'll go to 1 John 5:7. So here, First John 5:7 has in the reference, the reference titled O. It is generally agreed that verse 7 has no real authority and has been inserted. So you have to be careful, even though these notes. I've seen people point to the Scofield notes, and he's saying 1 John 5:7 is an inserted verse into the text. So um, another big one is Mark 16:9 to 12, 9 to 20, and that's another problem for the modern versions. Comes from Codex Sinaiticus, causes that problem that it's an addition or longer ending throughout the church history in the fourth, fifth centuries. Um, okay. Mm, Let me get to it. I'll read you the Scofield note for that. Actually, it's not a Scofield reference. It's actually the note that I'm looking at for Mark 16, verses 9 to 20. In the Scofield note, says the passage from verse 9 to the end is not found in the two most ancient manuscripts, the Sinaitic and Vatican manuscript, Codex Sinaiticus, Codex Vaticanus. The Sinaitic manuscript and the Vatican manuscript, and others have it with partial omissions. Oh, okay. Verse 9 to the end is not found in the two most ancient manuscripts. It's Codex Sinaiticus and the Vatican. The Sinaitic and Vatican, and others have it with partial omissions and variations, but it is quoted by Aaron Irenaeus, however you pronounce that, um, Hippolytus, Hippolytus in the 2nd or 3rd century. So at least it gives an indication that it was quoted, but it's not found in the Sinaitic and Vatican manuscripts. But the other references, it just says it has been omitted by our best and most ancient manuscripts, pointing back to the Codex Sinaiticus and Codex Vaticanus. That's our oldest and best manuscripts. Um, okay, that's the main ones. I went through just the Gospels and wrote down Matthew 16:20 says the manuscripts um, omit Jesus, the word Jesus. Matthew 17:21, best two manuscripts omit this passage, this verse. Matthew 23:14, the best manuscripts omit this verse. Matthew 25:14 omits kingdom of heaven. Mark 9 verses 29. Best two manuscripts omit uh, and fasting and prayer, and fasting. Mark 11:26 is omitted from the best manuscripts. John chapter 5 verse 3 omits waiting for the moving water, and that's um, that phrase waiting for the moving water in verse 3 of John 5:3, then omits all of verse 4 after John 5:3 and 4. Okay, those are references. In the references, uh, there's a footnote for John 7 verses 53 to John 8 1 through 1 verses 1 through 11. Excuse me. There's a footnote for John 7 verses John 7:53 through John 8 chapter 8 verses 1 to 11. It's not found in some manuscripts, but Augustine declared the copyists stricken from their copies because they feared that it teaches immorality. That's what it says. Augustine says the copyist stricken it from the copy, some of the copies, because they feared it teaches immorality, and that's what that footnote says. And yeah, I just looked. I probably didn't look at all the footnotes for the Gospels. I only went through the Gospels so far, and I first went through the references. Look, see if it had any says that it had any omissions while glancing at the footnotes. So so that's what I found out that I mean for biblical scholarship, you to know that our manuscripts are actually preserved. I mean, it's a good thing, but when you put it in the Bible and say, well, this may not belong and this one won't may not belong, it's just like the modern versions do. Unless they tell you that, well, these manuscripts don't have it, but um, have some kind of indication that it belongs. So it's misleading, and he praises textual criticism, Tischendorf, and other things. So, I mean, there's other doctrines that people say. I mean, not just this. I guess dispensationalism that he teaches is all right, but there's other things that you have to be careful. I'm guessing in his footnotes, definitely about um, the omissions that he says. Well, this is omitted from the text, so you gotta be even careful of the Scofield notes. That I always heard that it's a good reference Bible. I mean, to learn from. I mean, I'm not sure about the other doctrines, but at least don't believe that the well, they are omitted in the ancient text, but they do belong. So just remember that they do belong. It is true they are missing from the Codex Sinaiticus Vaticanus, but there's reasons why it's missing. It's either a corrupt ancient document that um, people handled it and kind of omitted everything that has to do with Christ and everything like that by a group of people, or it's a sort of modern forgery, but it's a corrupt text, corrupt ancient text that omitted a lot of things in the text. Okay, I just wanted to show you, try to get out my first thoughts about the reference Bible. I'm like, I noticed I went down through it, and I'm like, oh, it says it's omitted from the text, but I never heard of it. You know, how are people going to know that it is part of the text or not? You know, they're doing the same exact thing as the modern versions. Well, this is omitted from the text. I mean, this is omitted our best manuscripts, so it must not belong. They only give bring you up to that far and tell you, well, there's other evidence that's actually belongs. It might mislead people. So, um, I mean, it is true. Just believe that it is true that it's missing from the manuscript, but it does belong in the text. So I just wanted to share with you some of my first thoughts, first things I noticed about the Bible so far. I mean, um, so so I hope this helps you. Thank you and take care.